to have some sort of wine compliance as maybe a standard with their releases. I'm not talking about the major software houses because obviously they've got their own policies, etc. But maybe for the smaller software houses and a lot of the projects that are going on the net, it would be nice to see at the very least a wine compliance so that Linux users can sort of experience even more diverse platform of software. I don't know what you think of that.
Yeah. Well, I was just being a bit distracted, to be honest. I was trying to ensure. We almost approached. I think we've almost hit 2 hours now. And one of the things, and one of the things I wanted to cover, and I think it's quite important also because it's good news. What happened just now in Europe, or happened just 2 days ago, or a day ago, it was in the news. The attempts to put software patents in Europe. One of the things that Microsoft has been lobbying for and trying to kind of illegalize free software. It's called the EU patent, which sounds very benign, but what the EU patent is doing is trying to unify things and package them up in Europe so that, in my assessment and other people's assessments, it will allow the US Patent Office with the software patents to kind of unify with Europe and bring in software patents to Europe and have companies in the United States enforce the same laws as they do locally and enforce them in Europe. What happened, basically, this thing fell over. And it happened before. They used to call it all kinds of things. They call it like harmonization, and they call it the community patent. And they keep changing the name of the things and rewrapping and presenting it differently. And the Microsoft lobbying groups are always in favor of this, which tells you they really want this thing, that it really is good for Microsoft. Now this keeps falling over, and I'm among the group of very good people, the FFII, and you have the FSFE, and all those groups which fight against software patents in Europe, and they highlight the issues, and they highlight the names of the parliament members who are pushing for this. In this case, there was one from Belgium and one from France, especially, who are being used by these lobbies to try and promote to be the front man for this thing. There is another person who's doing it for the ACTA. Now, they always have these specific celebrities who try to kind of push this thing through and to tell you how wonderful it is. Anyway, that's failed, which is great news. But Bruce Perens has, just a few hours ago, he posted a very important article I found about the Red Hat Acacia case, which is basically involving this patent troll, which has lots of connections to Microsoft, which keeps getting paid by Microsoft, suing these major companies that sell you Linux and trying to put a patent fee on the basically restricted distribution and making very GPL incompatible distributions of the software. And Bruce was trying to shed some light and to share knowledge he has from the inside, because he's a very highly regarded member of the open source / free software community. He was trying to give you insight into why software patents have become like the most major issue now for, don't want to say just Linux, basically for all people who share software patents are becoming a major issue now. And in some part of me, I'm really concerned about this. I know about this. I'm kind of happy about this only because I know I've highlighted this issue since 2006. I've been trying to tell people this is the major thing, because when we make a better operating system, when we go past the marketing issues, and we have this thing that's called Android now, which sells just about second best in the United States, and that's based on Linux in some sense. But basically what they'll then try and do is to enforce the last thing they have, and that's software patents, and to fight Android using that. And that's precisely what they do right now. One of the last companies that does not pay for Android to Microsoft is Motorola, at least among the big companies. And Microsoft has now sued them twice. We haven't touched on that, but Microsoft is suing them a second time. Motorola has just sued Microsoft back. I think that was yesterday. Basically, Motorola is countersuing Microsoft for patent violation using 16 patents they have. And now there is this patent war over Android. And Microsoft is really desperate, going into court now, trying to throw as many patents as they can to try and pressure Motorola to pay for Android. And that shows you this is how they fight now, because they cannot sell phones with, the Microsoft brand on them. all they can try and do is to ensure they make money out of somebody else's product that they have nothing to do with.
Well, on that note, as you say, we're approaching the 2 hours, and I think this is the record so far. As always, best laid plans. We come in with more structure, and we end up just as our unscripted nature allows us to go off on separate topics and tangents. So I hope everybody has enjoyed listening to myself and Roy talking on a plethora of subjects. Today we're going to end on a very different track. I think last episode we started with a new track being put on the end, and this one is a favourite of mine, and it's by a musician called Bynard Pilot, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You'll find the whole link to his site and all his great music in the show notes when this is published. This particular track's quite interesting. I found it as a result of an article on Torrent Freak. For those that don't know, there was a very famous movie ripper called Axo, and this is Bynard Pilot's tribute to this famous movie pirate that's now sort of disappeared from the scene in an air of mystery and an intrigue. So this is his sort of tribute to the pirate Axo, or movie distributor Axo. So I hope you enjoy it, and that'll play us out. I look forward to talking to you all again. Roy, as always, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.